Hello, I'm Nana Akhobadze. I represent the University of Georgia from the country, Georgia, and today I'm going to present my research findings. Title of the research is Assessment of Gen Z Customer Experience Preferences and Perceptions of Artificial Intelligence for Improving Customer Experience, main focus with financial services and in the context of Georgian market. So main hypothesis and the main question of my research was, can AI, artificial intelligence, help close the gap between Gen Z's expectations and current financial service experience they are getting? So for this research paper, I have worked on specific methodologies to analyze how Gen Z perceives customer experience in financial services right now, and what expectations do they have in terms of improving financial service experiences with the help of AI. But let's begin with the customer experience itself. What is a customer experience? Customer experience is basically the every emotion customers gets from each interaction within the company, and it's one of the strongest competitive differentiators in the market in 21st century, and especially in financial industry, because financial products and services are quite easy to copy. So the only thing that companies in financial industry can truly achieve competitive advantage is to focus on an experience that is harder to imitate. So my hypothesis of the researchers was that AI can actually make customer experience for Gen Z specifically easier and more acceptable. But before we move to the certain methodology and the findings, I would just like to outline briefly who are Gen Z population in a little snapshot. So Gen Z population today accounts around 2 billion people worldwide, which is around 25% of global population, and in case of Georgia, it accumulates around 90% of the Georgian population. So this means that they are like customers of the futures, and they will constitute majority of the customers who are willing to pay and are capable of paying for certain products and services in a near future. So that's why it's truly important in terms of customer experience to focus not on general preferences of the customers, but exactly and specifically on Gen Z values. And what Gen Z values is as far as they are like digital first customers, what they value is, of course, digital presence and digital accessibility of the services, the seamless and simple experiences, and what's more, personalization and very customized services. So my research methodology based on which I have identified the preferences and also current state of customer experience in financial services in Gen Z population was based on so-called six emotional drivers. These are actually the emotional factors and drivers that can trigger emotional satisfaction and make customers perceive customer experience to be on a high point. And these six emotional drivers was used to measure current six perception of Gen Z population in terms of financial services. Also, AI trust, safety, and usefulness, how they perceive it. And also this, based on these six emotional drivers, I have measured a future AI role in six transformation. Let's focus on those six emotional drivers at first, what was behind them. Among these six emotional drivers, we have the driver I trust you, which basically means transparency, reliability, and accuracy of the companies while serving us. The second driver is you know me, emotional driver, which is actually understanding of the customer itself, how companies, financial industries understand their real customers, what they really want and what they really need. You make it easy is a third emotional driver, which is basically all about the empathy, all about the simple and fast, low effort services. You Get Me is a fourth emotional driver, which is all about empathy and individual recognition. So You Know Me is basically how you understand me, and You Get Me is basically how you treat me as an individual and how you react in a very specific situations when I truly need company support. The fifth emotional driver is You Deliver on Your Promise, which basically means delivering what we promise to the customers, like conditions, timelines, communication matches the reality. And the sixth emotional driver is You Fix Things, which means translate into responsibility and effective recovery and problem solving for the customers. So this is a framework that I use to measure Gen Z's current experience and also impact of AI, in which direction and in which emotional driver AI would have a more impact, and which direction would be more important to consider in terms of AI investments. So let's start with this first of current 6 reality findings. As you can see from the presentation, a perception of Gen Z population was measured according to these 6 emotional drivers, and you can see how many differences we have among those drivers. For example, the strongest positive score was in ease of use. But the lowest score was, the weakest score was in case of empathy and individual recognition, and also in You Know Me, customer understanding emotional drivers. This basically means that in current state, in financial services, customers, Gen Z customers, feel that they can easily take services from the financial industries, but they feel neglected in terms of empathy and individual approach, which is one of the main important, one of the essential values for Gen Z population, as this custom and personalized approach towards them. And also, they don't really think that companies, especially financial industries, know them, know their patterns, know their behaviors, and offer services and products that are relevant to their real needs. So this can be interpreted as that in terms of CXF, easiness does not always mean that we are Gen Z population is understood and empathetically treated during the interaction with the financial industries. So then, based on my methodology, I have discovered how Gen Z now perceives AI and how ready they are to adapt to the AI tools in financial services. And you can see that there is a somewhat trust in, they somehow trust in AI in financial industries, but still 45%, around 46% of Gen Z population consider AI in financial services unsafe. So we can say that even though AI is in really in a trendy direction, most of the Gen Z still have some safety issues and trust issues of using AI, especially in terms of financial services. All these like findings can be interpreted in a way that Gen Z is not really anti-AI, but they truly feel this risk. And when it comes to sensitive services like financial services, where you have your private information, your money, your accountability, it's really a sensitive issue to them, and they need real proof that AI can be used in a safe manner in terms of managing finances. Also, we have asked during our methodology, we have asked the population to share their opinions if AI will improve customer experience in financial services. And you can see that 44% see it as a partially positive impact, and around 36% expect no positive impact at all. So once again, AI adoption needs proof and not like only promises that are not really met. So Gen Z needs additional proofs to cover this like sensitivity issue. step up this sensitivity issue and to adapt and to take AI as a see and perceive AI as a positive impact making on customer experience. Now, I will explain a bit more detail the ideas and perceptions of the populations who actually had that AI can have positive impact on a customer experience. And also, this part is also evaluated against six emotional customer experience, 6 emotional drivers. And you can see here what actually Gen Z perceives in which direction, in which emotional driver AI can have the most impactful positive impact. And you can see that mostly it's all about make it easy, emotional driver. So we have also considerable good like perceptions about you know me part, which is basically understanding of the customer and its behavior and sale or buying patterns. And then we have delivery on promise. However, we can see that there is a really lack of AI's positive impact perception in terms of trust and in terms of getting me well, which is basically empathy and which is basically mainly human interaction and human touch of the services. We have asked this question to our Gen Z population, whether AI, they preferred to take the service directly from AI or from a human. And we can see the findings here that majority of a Gen Z population, even though that they're digital first population, prefer to use virtual assistant and plus human support. So AI can be used for routine, fast, and repetitive interaction. But meanwhile, all customers have this need to have access, easy access to human and to human support for complex, emotional, or high-risk moments. So hybrid model is more acceptable for Gen Z population rather than like mostly focusing on artificial intelligence, which is kind of stereotypically, which is kind of more expected that many people believe that AI can be used in everything, and many people think that it's better to use AI in everything. So based on the research and the findings, we can conclude that AI can be used as a tool for making service interactions more simpler and more personalized in terms of offerings. But before that, we truly need to build the trust before the automation, which basically means explaining and making more transparent for Gen Z customers how AI can be used and how data can be processed, wherever the accountability sits here. So another point to take into account is to use AI where confidence is the highest, so prioritize the areas and emotional drivers in which Gen Z had most perception level of making customer experience more relevant and more like simple in terms of interactions. Also, another finding and another recommendation is to design visible human escalation so that whenever a Gen Z customer needs to escalate his or her issue to human, this transition should be easier. Otherwise, they will lose the trust, which is one of the main challenges in terms of AI in financial service interactions. And once again, remeasure this emotional customer experience aspects and drivers and see how the trends changes and adapt to the strategy where to invest in terms of AI, in which emotional driver and direction to invest more. Just to sum it up, digital transformation is not the same as customer experience transformation. And in order to make AI and digital transformation more fruitful for the organizations and for the companies, especially in financial industries, they should think about building the trust at first. So I guess this is a majority of the findings of the studies that I wanted to share it with you now. Also, I would like to add that in terms of like future studies and future researches and implication of these studies, I would recommend for the companies, for the researchers and for scientific the doctorates and candidates to compare different groups, like compare Gen Z and other maybe Gen Alpha and other generations, to see more specific differences and specific focuses and specific perception varieties among those generations, and to think a step ahead and get ready for future generation in terms of using AI and improving customer experience in financial services. Also, it would be beneficial to add some deep dive methodology in terms of in the form of interviews and focus groups, because the studies that I have just presented, it was mostly based on quantitative research, and around 225 Gen Z participants from Georgian industries have participated in the survey, and the survey had the limitations that it was distributed among students groups with the help of social media. So it covered mostly the people, just Gen Z customers who are more digital friendly. So this can be a good direction to test it out and to test the real behavior, to test how actually Gen Z uses financial services, and evaluate it against the 6 emotional drivers presented in the methodology part above. So I guess this brings me to the end to my presentation. Thank you for your attention.